Next up on our list is the Faceless.
Oh, you go. Yeah, you go ahead, George. You do it.
Okay.
I don't like these names. I did not look at these first. Go ahead, try it.
I'll give it my best. Okay. So the Faceless is for 2 to 4 players. It is 30 to 45 minutes. That may be a bit short, but the designers, we have Guido Albini and Martino Chiacchiera. Whoa, nope. Martino Chiacchiera. The artists, there's Fernando Armentano, Massimo Fratini, Giacomo Tappainer, and Tommaso Incecchi. Oof, yeah, those are some good names. The publisher is Alter Ego Games.
Cool. You want to explain it?
Okay, in the Faceless, you are going to be going into this place called the Dusk World, where you're going to retrieve the memories of a child that has been abducted by a sort of evil creature called the Billy Goat. And a child or other children have gone missing, and you have to go find memories of the child that are left in order to sort of put him back together and bring him back out from the Dusk World. So it has a very sort of Stranger Things sort of feel to it. And the way that you do this is through card play, and playing those cards allows you to move magnets around the edge of the board and on the board, and those magnets are affecting a compass, which is your player piece, the piece that represents your party. So the magnetic fields are going to be what control how you move, because you always follow the arrow on your compass, which means when you make a move, your next move could have altered,
slightly changed,
because you stepped into some field that you weren't aware of. So it's a very innovative mechanism. The cards that you play then build up on the end of each player's turn. They're going to be drawn for the Billy Goat, and the cards that build up that are drawn for the Billy Goat have various effects on you as well. You're trying to cooperate together to find all of the memories without stepping onto various traps and spaces on the board that will cause you to lose the game or lose a memory that you've currently acquired that you could spend for extra abilities. You can instead spend it to keep yourself alive and keep going. So you have special abilities, each of the players, as various kids from the neighborhood who are on this mission. And let's see, I don't know what else to add to that.
Oh, I guess the only other thing I would add is you draw a card from the deck, and that's is the bad action of the round, I guess.
He kind of mentioned that, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but the most innovative thing is that when you move the magnets around on the board, you can also turn them so that you can affect whether it's the negative or the positive polarity that's
whether it
pushing in
tracks
various
you
directions.
or pulls you away.
Yeah.
Pushes.
It's interesting because the cards that you're using are dual purpose, because they're used on when you play them on your turn to affect the board in certain ways to allow you to move better, like by turning those magnets or by moving the Billy Goat and things like that. But then when a card gets placed from the same deck that you drew from onto the
This
bad
card,
area,
yeah.
It's they stack colors. So if like yellow stacks in the yellow section, the blue stacks in the blue section, and there's this bad effect that happens based on the number of cards in that color.
Right, so the more that come out, the more powerful the effect is.
Right. So like the more red cards, the farther the Billy Goat moves.
Right.
And so then if you take the rest action on your turn, because you don't have any cards left, then you get to draw cards from that display to weaken the effects as new cards come out.
The Faceless themselves are the children that have previously been taken by the Billy Goat, and those are the magnets that you're moving around the outside of the board. And those magnetic figures are double-sided because they have the polarity positive, negative. And one side is sort of the child. It's this child side, and then that's the one that is drawing you in toward them. And when you turn it around, that shows what happened to that child in the past.
Right.
So what became of them when they were taken by these demonic figures, and that is this scary side that pushes you away and repels your magnet.
Yeah. So I thought that, I mean, obviously this game is incredibly unique and it's incredibly innovative. The magnets aren't used a lot in board games in general, especially not with the polarities other than maybe like that hearts game where you toss them across the table and try to gather as many hearts or whatever as you can.
Right.
What's it called?
Hearts of Attraction.
Yeah, Hearts of
Yes.
Attraction.
Your vampire game is the only other one I can think of.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, there's
because
another game.
I guess it's using the negative to push or
yeah,
whatever.
you push, and it's almost like that little coin game in the arcades where you're
Yeah.
trying to knock things off of the edge.
Oh, right, where you're pushing the garlic around.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's a fun game. But so anyway, what do you think of the Faceless?
I really enjoy this game. There are so many variants that come with the game that you can tweak the difficulty level in so many ways
Right.
to get it just how you like it. And in fact, we did that when we were playing. We added several children to each character so that you had a choice as to which child was going to use his ability each round. And in the normal game, you just would have one child
Yeah.
and one ability. So I just added that in. But the reason I added that in is because we had so many monsters
Yes.
and little servants of the Billy Goat on the board.
And is that actually in the base game, or is that a Kickstarter kind of exclusive or add-on?
No, everything is in the base game.
Okay.
It was a successful Kickstarter, but with the success of their Kickstarter, they added
those
everything
items.
into
Oh,
the
that's
base
good.
game.
Right.
Yeah, it was very nice.
The only thing that's not in the base game is just like component upgrades, right?
You can get 3D components that are either the
The trees.
The trees and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, instead of just having the tiles
You know,
punch outs.
speaking of that though, this is the brilliance of that expansion or like that little cosmetic upgrade is because it just gives you tree trunks and then you sit the actual tree piece, the little cardboard shit on top of them.
Right, so that you can still move figures on top of those pieces.
Right, but I wouldn't feel like I'm replacing product with new product. You know what I'm saying? You're just adding in and it makes it look cool, but you're not like throwing away all the old pieces or not throwing
Yeah.
away. Not that I would do that, but you know what I mean? Like in some games, it's like, here's metal coins, here's all the old coins. And now it's like you have double the amount of coins, but you're not going to use both. In this, it's like, here's 3D pieces, but it doesn't replace all the cardboard pieces. It just uses them.
Right.
Yeah.
In general, for a first-time Kickstarter, a new company, I think they knocked it out of the park with the artwork and
Oh, yeah. The
all the
artwork and the
ideas
story.
that they brought to it. And I have to say, another thing that they did is during the Kickstarter, they were eliciting ideas from people on Board Game Geek and over the Kickstarter, and they incorporated those into the game. They were really open to that, and so
Right.
a lot of those variants that became things like the fog, where you actually cover up your compass before you move anything, so you don't see what the effect is as you're moving it. And you have to really understand magnetism.
Right. That's expert mode.
Was that something that you suggested?
That was the one I suggested. Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
that's pretty awesome.
And they incorporated that, so I'm really happy about that. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's really good.
Speaking of Kickstarter, I just read a couple comments, and evidently they took a little while getting it out.
They did, and there were so many people that complained bitterly about that. And I think they got a lot of really unfair ratings and things on Kickstarter or on Board Game Geek as a result.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was unfortunate because the finished product I think is very
There was
good.
a lot into making it as well, and the minis on it were really detailed and they
Yeah, I
look
like the
really nice.
minis.
Yeah,
They're
I think
pretty cool.
literally actually one of the, which is a bad way to do it, they rated it at A2, put give me my game. So they clearly don't have it and hadn't played it
Right.
to rate it
That's the problem with
properly.
Board Game Geek and why I always I like to call people out on their comments.
Yeah. So
Because, they put unfair comments. It's like, don't rate it if you haven't played it. First off, period.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. And also, I don't understand why people are rating games like 5. It's like, I own it, so I'm going to put a temporary 5. That helps no one. You don't have to rate the game. If it, like, Board Game Geek needs to do something. I know they have, like, algorithms and stuff that kind of change, like, gives you an accurate score or some garbage,
Right.
whatever. But the thing is, people need to be able, if they want a notes section, Board Game Geek should bring out a note section. Your note section
there is a note
shouldn't.
section for games. Yeah.
Is it where the comments is? Where people say
I mean,
new
no,
and shrink?
That's different.
5.
They do have a comment
5.
section.
You
where
rated
can
it a
comment
5
on
and
it.
put new and shrink? I don't care about your collection. I want to read comments about the game.
I
But
agree.
there is a note section on the games you own, at least, where you can go
I'm
into
pretty
there.
sure it's the same comment section, though, that goes
Oh, you
into
think
the,
so?
the rating area. If not, then all these people are idiots.
Yeah, so maybe that.
It's like, stop using the rating system as your personal inventory.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. I got this on 2016.
got it, Kickstarter 2017, haven't received.
Yeah.
Traded in math trade.
To be fair, there is a component issue with the game, the game board itself. The spaces for the compass and for the billy goat who moves around the board, those spaces are a bit smaller than the compass and the billy goat.
Yeah.
So their bases can
Overlap.
and it can bump things around the rest of the board. But if you play just with the compass piece and not the holder of the compass, then that solves half the problem. And the billy goat himself, we didn't have any difficulty.
If you're touching him that close, you're probably going to lose next turn anyway.
Right. So it's absolutely playable, and it's unique enough that it's worth that small irritation.
Yeah.
It would be nice if they came out with another board. I think they could just print a larger board, maybe attach it to one of their new Kickstarters. Something that they're doing right now is there's an expansion piece for the Faceless that you can get as part of their next Kickstarter, which is a game called Ashes to Ashes. And what is really good about the way they did it is they said, if you back us for just $1, and then in the Pledge Manager, send us 10 more, we'll send you this extra component, this extra magnet component and rules for this piece. You don't have to get the full Ashes to Ashes game.
Oh,
That's
okay.
pretty cool. So they're kind of addressing that with the new.
Yeah, and I've seen plenty of other companies say you have to buy our whole game to get this
Right.
Yeah.
one component for
Right.
the game that you actually like.
Well, actually, talking about the gameplay of the game, there's only one thing that I was pretty irritated with, and that's the fact that when the arrow is pointing between two spaces,
Right.
and then
Yeah.
it becomes like this. It harkens back to when I play War Machine, and people are like, no, you don't have line of sight. Yes, I do. It just becomes an argument on who has what.
Right.
Well,
if it's exactly in the middle, okay. But like in our case, it kind of hugged the right side of the line, but it was still in the middle. So how kind of you get to kind of determine if
Right.
it's in the middle or
Right. I think
The
personally,
rule says if it's on the line, you decide.
it
Right.
does. I think that it shouldn't. It should always say that you move to the space closer to the billy goat.
Ooh.
Oh.
That'd
But
be
Billy
hard.
Goat is making you go away.
What? No, the billy goat is trying to kill you, and you're.
Oh well, yes, but I mean he is.
But what I'm
repelling
saying
you,
He does
is what I'm
repel you,
saying.
that's
in
Yeah.
most co-op games, if you're going to have a question about the rules, you always err on the side of the game.
This game is hard.
I mean, yeah, but
Okay.
I don't know.
I mean, you could, yeah, absolutely. House rule. I'm in favor.
Or have a token that
Right.
every other turn you flip it and it says left or right, and
Yeah,
then it
this
just
time
auto
it's gonna go
decides
left.
for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or something
Yeah.
like that. But the arbitrariness of needing to decide as a team, it happened way more often than I thought it was going to.
A
Yeah,
few times,
And
yeah.
that's partially our fault.
Sure.
because,
Was it?
Because we couldn't set up the magnetic fields in a way that made it, we can definitely get to where we need to go.
Right.
The best we can do is maybe get it to the line.
I mean, that's
never get
fair,
to
but
choose.
I mean, that's kind of the game too. I mean, that's like, that
Oh,
was
yeah.
the cool part about it. But maybe instead of like turning it as slightly as you wanted to, maybe there should have been like, you had to turn it in like 2 millimeter increments. Maybe that would have solved it.
I doubt it.
It'd be pretty fiddly. And
Right.
That's true.
it'd
It
be a
probably
hard
would-
call to be saying,
That was only one.
you'd have the same problem. It'd just be smaller lines.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, that was a minor thing, but it did happen more than I thought it was going to. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah.
there was probably 4 or 5 times in the same game where it happened, and we were, which one is it? Which one is it? Well, let's just go with this.
Yeah, we kept underestimating the effect of our magnets because the billy goat being right there on the board has a much stronger effect than some of the other magnets that are farther away.
Yeah. And even though this part worked, I'm usually not a big fan of it, so it was okay. But I don't like games too much where co-op games where all your information is available.
Mm,
Just because, and our group was fine,
right.
but the alpha gamer of I know better than you because I can see all the information could really overwhelm some people.
Maybe, but I think in this one, a nice balance to that is the fact that you might be able to see everything as far as cards go.
But you don't know.
You don't see the magnetic fields.
That's
You don't-
true.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's why it wasn't as impactful
Yeah.
of a thing. Because normally when we play co-ops and all the information is on the table, it's like, all right, who's the best thinker? Just tell us how to play.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
math out.
Yeah, math it out for us. Thanks.
We could play with iron filings and just sprinkle them all over the table.
Who's got a strong belt? What is going on? The magnets are messed up. It's funny. I wonder if you're gonna ever have something that's on the table and interferes with it.
If it's a magnet.
That's true. Or a screwdriver. Polarized screwdriver.
Yeah, they do say to rub the magnets against the compass before you start the game so that the polarity is correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I would say it has a weird. To some extent, it was too easy, and then another extent, it was like kind of hard or maybe random, because your first step, that's the easy part. You know, you get to move some sort of magnet, turn it how you want. You could always like take the first step wherever you want.
Right. Oh, yeah. We should say that each of the cards has a number, and that's the number of steps you have to take.
Right. So you have to take. Sometimes you have to move 3.
You don't want to move 3.
No, you
because
typically
that
don't
third
want to
step
move
is
3.
probably random.
Because you think you might know, I'm going to move over here, and you like, all right, since I'm moving over here, I'm going to be pulled to the left. But sometimes you're pulled all the way to the right. So
yeah, it can just really surprise you.
So I'm not sure on how much I like that randomness of the moving in 2 or 3.
Yeah.
But your first step is always easily to be swayed or determined.
I'm really interested to see with more plays how much that is not actually randomness, but just a lack of knowledge. Because
Right,
once you
that's
get
what it
really
is.
good,
It's like playing pool or something. You know, after you know where to shoot it or where to hit those magnets.
right?
And then that's where you go into the the fog or the little cap that you put on your compass.
I hope we get to that point someday.
Yeah, one time.
I wonder if it's going to get to the point where
The nightmare mode.
it depends on how much you rub the magnet to polarize it. Now, Art, I know that 6 spaces away from the billy goat, but the next game it's only 5 because we didn't rub it as much. I don't know if that's a thing. It's
I don't know.
science.
But that is probably one aspect. If a magnet is so far away, it's not going to have any effect on our compass. So that's something that you might know from messing around with it or after a couple different plays.
Yeah, I like the artwork, by the way. The artwork's awesome. I don't like the box cover because I don't like box covers that doesn't have the name on the front.
You're talking about the box cover that's shown on BGG?
Yeah.
Okay,
Is that not it?
Well, it's not the box cover I have, so
No.
I couldn't really say.
Maybe I didn't see your box cover. No,
Okay.
I saw it. I posted on. No, okay,
It
yeah,
says
it's
the
fine.
Faceless.
Yeah, I don't like the image. Like the image is actually really cool if it just said the Faceless on Board Game Geek, but the actual box cover, yeah, it does say Faceless. You're right.
Yeah, and
I remember this now.
yeah, that's a better picture on the box that I have. So I'm not sure where they got that.
And I
picture.
know your box
Weird.
has a
BGG.
sleeve as well. Was that the sleeve cover or was that the actual game cover?
They're the
I
same.
mean, okay.
They're actually the same. The sleeve is just black and white. It looks like a black and white television.
Oh, okay, yeah. I remember that now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the last thing I've got is a disappointment, and the fact that I posted this on Board Game Geek, or I'm sorry, on Instagram, and I did the hashtag magnets. How do they work? And no one has yet to comment on that. So anyway.
I don't believe that's the full quote.
We got no juggalos following us.
I shortened it slightly for PG television. So anything else?
That's why they didn't recognize it.
Yeah, right.
Just one quick thing. There's an app page or a web page that is called app.alterego.games, and on that you can get some lore about the game. The game comes with a journal that was written by one of the children who was taken, and it's just the amount of just extra work that went into this game is really impressive. And also on that app or website called App, they have 2 songs by a composer that they hired to make original music for the game, and it's sort of spooky.
Right. It's awesome.
It's so good. Yeah, it's really impressive that they went to that degree of effort.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Matt, what did you think about it? Did you check it out?
I mean, it looks cool. George kind of explained it, so I have not watched any reviews or anything like that on it. But I mean, the concept sounds amazing. I'd like to kind of play it just because you are talking about these fields you can't see. I want to kind of see
it's really
what's
cool.
going on with that.
Yeah.
So
This was on my preview list of Essen last year. This game was.
Right. Yeah.
Because I think they had it for demo. I don't think they had it for purchase.
Ah.
Yeah,
How
makes
long
sense.
How long was the game? Do you think it was a 45-minute game? 30
I would
or
say
45?
I think it was pretty
fairly
short.
quick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't short, but it was a lot quicker than I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
Although I do think that 3 players is probably good.
Right. I think that's maybe the sweet spot for this game is probably 3.
Yeah. I mean, 2 would probably still even be really good.
Yeah, I can see that.
But
And then,
anyway, you got
one
something
last
else?
thing as well is reading on the forums as well. One thing people have done to increase the complexity or how hard the game is to make Billy Goat instead of repelling you, he attracts you.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so
What?
we should try that one time. And it kind of
That
makes
would be
sense as
so
well
hard.
because that's what he's trying to do.
That's true. He's trying to
Trying
trap
to
you.
right.
But just think how hard that would be. You just
It would be hard, but it might be
Whoa.
pretty fun.
Yeah, you have to maybe curb the variants, the add-ons and stuff, and
Yeah.
then try it with base game, and then add other things later.
Right.
Yeah. The game can get out of hand like so many co-ops where if you just get a lot of red cards out there and Billy Goat gets to move 3 or 4 times,
Oh yeah.
it's over really fast.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, if you see that happening, you don't have to be out of cards to rest.
Correct.
So you could rest to grab one card just to make it to where you won't lose on the next draw.
Yeah.
If it's a red card or whatever.
Well, I don't think we rested enough.
Probably not. But we won, so who cares?
That's right.
All right, final thoughts?
Not
Anything
like it.
else?
I like it.
All right, Matt, we'll play it.
Sweet.
That is the Faceless.